Freedom Chaser Zoom tonight. Marcel, you always do that to me, man.
I'm sorry, bro.
You always hit me with the recording in progress. Hey, all good. I like it. I like it. I'm always curious. I don't think you asked, Marcel, who are our first time family members tonight jumping into our Freedom Chaser Zoom. If this is your first time, throw a 10 in the chat. We definitely would like to recognize you. Throw a 10 in the chat if this is your first time. There we go. Carlos, let's go. Bob, Jeremiah, amazing. If this is your second time, throw a 20 in the chat, because that means you decided to come back. You liked it enough to come back. That's what I'm talking about. Commitment, consistency. So for those of you all who are here for the first time, second time, what do we say, Marcel? This is our 10th Zoom.
This is the 10th week, brother.
Freedom Chaser. Amazing, man. Amazing. So just wanted to jump in here really quick. We just want to all get calibrated on the perspective and purpose of the Zoom tonight. And it all started a few weeks ago where, Marcel, myself, Victor, and Charles, we came together. We were united with a passion for multifamily real estate. However, we found out actually we're navigating together collectively several of life's complexities, which are these things. Number one, we're all married. Number two, we're all working demanding corporate jobs outside of real estate. Number three, we all have small kids. And then number four, we're all involved in our communities to some degree, right? So we're all juggling these responsibilities, these commitments, these challenges, all the while trying to navigate the multifamily real estate space and win in this space. And so what we found out was, man, we really need each other. I need my brother Marcel. I need my brother Doc Bingham. I need my brother Dr. Into the G, Victor, because navigating these challenges and trying to win as an individual in the multifamily space is so difficult. So multifamily is a team sport. But not too long after we came together and found that we had all these commonalities, we were like, wait a minute. There's probably thousands and thousands of people out there that are trying to do exactly what we're doing. Maybe it doesn't look like exactly where we are in life, but they probably have a job. They have some other life and personal commitments, and they have a burning passion for multifamily real estate within their hearts. So not only did we want to pave a way for ourselves in this space, but we wanted to set a stage. We wanted to open a gateway. We wanted to establish a platform, a community where folks navigating life's challenges can come together and encourage and inspire and motivate each other to move forward in winning in the multifamily real estate space. So that is what this Zoom is about. Holistically, comprehensively, we're here coming together, understanding that yes, we have our challenges, but at the same time, we're here together as a community, as a family, to support one another through these challenges so that we all are successful in the multifamily real estate space. Let's go.
I love this. Gets me excited every week, as you know. And I want to add one thing to this and ask a question in the group here, because what Trevor mentioned is we all work demanding jobs. And I think it's always hard to follow these real estate gurus, that are all full-time into real estate and put out all this content. And the questions that we asked ourselves always was, man, how can we catch up with that? We don't have the time to do that. You do have time. Don't get me wrong. A lot more time than you think you do. But how can we do that? Is there somebody, that can portray that picture of working that demanding 9 to 5, which never is a 9 to 5, right? And still is successful in real estate. And this is why we try to create this community really of like-minded people. And that doesn't mean that all of you guys are that. Maybe some of you are full-time in real estate, and you guys should pave the way, guys. Pave the way, be the leaders of this community, right? So this is really what we're trying to put together here. And I would like to see in the chats, put a 1 in the chat if you have a demanding 9 to 5. I would like to see who here today is in the chats or in the Zoom. Yeah, see, there we go. And this is really what we're trying to do, because we felt like, man, there is no community out there that really focuses on that. Let's try to be these like-minded people all together that share these commonalities, right? You guys saw we put a Facebook page together. This is not just for us to, post Zooms or for us to showcase our face. It's really for all of you guys to collaborate and communicate, right? And we'll get to that a little later, but it's a place for all of us to come together outside of the Zoom on Sundays. Okay, so guys, if you don't mind, can you put the Facebook link here also in the chats real quick, just for whoever hasn't seen it yet? I hope all of you guys have. And we're really trying to build this community of like-minded full-time professionals, plus these full-time real estate experts like Ashley, like Zach, that come in and really pave the way for everybody else, right? So with that, guys, I'd love to get to our next section. Our next section is always share your wins, right? I would love for some guys of you, raise your hands if you had a win this week. What have you accomplished this week? Anything that you set a target for? It can be a nice broker call. It can be anything that you have accomplished for yourself this week that you want to share with the community. I see Peter raise his hand immediately. Peter.
Sure that I can actually speak this week, unfortunately.
Too many broker calls, huh?
Yeah, no, I wish that was the case. Ended up with laryngitis this week somehow. But, I had, after the call Sunday night, I was really inspired to kind of keep track of the wins. And I literally had 2 pages of wins I put down. I could spend an hour talking about it. But I definitely wanted to mention the biggest win, and that was starting the Zoom call on Monday for broker outreach. It was rough. It was our first one, but it was very well received. We had about 12 people at the max. I think we probably had about 15 different people show up. But Marcel, you dropping in, Jimmy dropping in, who's also been in the mentorship. You guys, what you shared was absolute gold for the group. And the feedback has been incredible this week. I have no idea how many people are going to show up tomorrow, but if I'm alone, that's okay. I'll call brokers by myself. So, but every Monday, 2:00, we're going to be doing it. The biggest thing is the whole purpose is to encourage people who are afraid to do it. And I know we all have some level of fear. So just come join us. We'll get you through it. If you don't want to do it live on the call, we'll do it in a breakout session. But everybody on this call can do it. If you want to buy multifamily real estate, start by calling brokers and let's get you over that hurdle. First step.
I love that, Peter. Thanks for sharing that. And I wanna speak to that a little bit, because what Peter is doing here, especially in this community, that's exactly what we intend for everybody here to do, right? Is step up, lead, even if you maybe have not figured it out yourself yet fully, right? It doesn't matter. Trust me, guys. When we started, matter of fact, when we started this Zoom call 10 weeks ago, you think we had it all figured out? We still don't have it all figured out, matter of fact, right? But you just got to get out there, start it, get the people together. We need more Peters, guys. We need more Peters. Let's all be Peters, right? And I'm super excited for that. And I was in that call on Monday. I dropped in with Peter, and I saw everybody taking action. That's what it was, taking action, encouraging a bigger group to take action. And Peter, let me ask you, how did it feel being together as a group rather than kind of be alone and run like as a single guy rather than in a group as a pack?
Yeah, absolutely no comparison. And I'm not somebody who's afraid to pick up the phone. I mean, if I had his number, I'd call the president and chat with him, But doing it in a group is so much more powerful. And encouraging the next person, and watching somebody who's been deathly afraid to do it to step up and make a call. It's absolutely awesome. And plus, when you show up and other people show up that have more experience and have been through it several times and just, and do it live, and we get to see, quote, an expert do it live. It's so valuable to the team. It's unbelievable and encouraging. amazing. It was awesome.
Peter,
I
how
think we
can
stayed on
people?
for we scheduled it for an hour. We stayed on for almost 3.
Peter, I got a quick question for you. We got a lot of people wanting to know where's the link for the Zoom meeting. Are you going to put that on our Facebook page or are you going to drop a link in our chat here?
I can put a link in the chat, but it's already on your Facebook page.
Yeah.
That's pretty much when people ask me about it. I don't even send them the link to my Zoom. I send them the link to your Facebook page because I want them to join your group first.
I love it. Plug 'em in.
Fantastic. Love it, brother.
Our group, brother, our group.
Exactly.
And it's important that, like Trevor said, right? This is not Trevor's group, Charles' group, Victor, or myself. The Freedom Chasers is all of us here, right? This is not a group of us 4. We're just hosting it. We're just creating the platform. We take on the little bit of extra work to put the framework together. That's it. Not more, not less. So it's all of us. So Peter, thanks for sharing. And I hope, again, this is why these wins are important. I hope somebody else here in this room might feels encouraged now to do just something like Peter, right? Become a Peter and pave the way with others in this community, huddle them together and achieve our goals here together. Okay, thanks, Peter. Appreciate you. Ashley.
You bet.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Amazing. How are you?
World is waiting.
Sorry, hi. I had a couple wins this week, one personal and one multifamily related. So it's been an awesome week. But multifamily related, Zach and I were able to co-broker on the buyer side and represent Carlos for his Lakeland deal that just went under contract this week. So we are super excited to be part of that deal, and now we're raising money for it. So it's very
Let's put
exciting.
some fires in the chat for that. How big is that deal, Ashley? For people that don't know this here, I mean, maybe some people think that's like a $2.5 million deal, but let's educate them on that.
Yeah, the Lakeland deal is 39.5 million.
Boom.
That's
So yeah, it's the biggest deal that Carlos is acquiring, and so we're excited. Everyone's ready to go. This
Ashley,
is
when did you start brokering? When did you start brokering multifamily commercial real estate?
August.
See?
So this is my first deal ever. So that's exciting. And then Zach, this is his first multifamily deal ever.
Wow, absolutely incredible. See what's possible, right? When you put your mind to it. And I know you guys have been full force. You've been everywhere, present on everything, and you guys deserve it so much. I'm so happy for you guys.
Thanks. And then on my personal side, for my 9-to-5, I'm a creative director and I work in the music industry with country music artists. And I usually just have the vision for how we want certain things to look. But this time I was a little bit more hands-on, and I ended up coming up with the storyline, directing, and shooting a full music video for one of our artists. And it was released on Friday. So I'm going to drop it in the chat and you guys can check it out, but support my girl, Rachel Wamack. It's a really great story about what a girl's got to know before she gets serious with somebody when they're dating.
Wow, absolutely amazing. And just as a side note, right, doing all this and still signing on a $40 million deal on the side casually, right? So, I mean, what a better example, right, here in our, full-time professional group kind of a deal to see what's possible if you put your mind to it, right? Absolutely.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Ashley. Ify.
Hey Marcel.
What's up?
Hi. Mine I kind of shared it with you already, is more of a personal win. It's a shout out to, I don't know if her name is Sophie or Sophia, but I've been deathly ill this entire week, but I found that I was actually the most productive this week. She kept coming to my mind, and I refused to allow my illness to bring me down. So I did have a lot of underwriting Zooms that I was live in. I had very useful realtor conversations, so not broker, because I'm also trying to find a personal residence. I was able to make, calls, and I found that, and also network with a couple of people. So it's just to encourage anyone who, hopefully no one gets sick, but don't give up, don't stop, that sort of thing. That's all I can share.
I love it, Iffy. And I know you mentioned this to me, and this is why this win section means so much to us, guys. And I keep hammering it down every time. Just because Sophie shared last week again, I think it was last week, right? That you had your double knee replacements and you still were working on your deal and moved it forward. Here is a prime example. Iffy was in the room and she told me during the week, she says, man, I'm sick, but I keep thinking about what Sophie was saying last Sunday. And I couldn't stop, because if somebody can do it with a double knee replacement, I can do it right now too. So this is why this is so freaking powerful, guys. And Sophie, matter of fact, I want to thank you for that as well, to bring that up last week, because as you can see, somebody had a huge impact on somebody in this community. So thank you guys for sharing that. All righty, Hector. What's up, brother?
What's going
Good to
on?
see you.
How you guys doing, man? I'm glad to be
Hey,
here.
nice
brother.
sweater, man. Nice sweater.
Mine is a shirt, but I appreciate it.
Same thing.
I got 2 wins. One I want to share is I had our first call with Keston on Saturday. Amazing. Sometimes we think everything is fine, but when you start to get clarity, you start to notice things that you can use and change, right? So that was big for me. And another one was I had a buddy of mine that I met in a 10X event named Dennis, and he shot me a message, and he says, I think you want to join this Friday to a Zoom. So I was like, sure, I'll be there, no problem. And I just want to share with people, like, it's important to network and get out there and just show your face, right? Because even on these Zoom calls, it's very important, because you never know who's in the room. And I used to be one of the people that never used to want to get on the call or not want to show my face. So anyway, long story short, I get on the call and I meet this guy named Peter Durrell. He owns Narrow Gate. It's a security agency, and he makes $350 million a year, and he's a billionaire. And I got his personal information, and I have a Zoom with him this Friday.
I love it. That's amazing.
So,
see what's possible.
Awesome. Yes.
It's all possible. We're all just one connection away, guys. That's something Peter, matter of fact, told me once that kept stuck with me. We're all just one connection away. Not more than that, one connection away. And I'd love to touch on it, Hector, like you said, with Keston, right? For everybody else here maybe in the room, can you share with everybody else in the room what Keston does, and what what you do with him? Let's put it that way.
Yeah, so he gets real down into like specific questions, right? Questions that we wouldn't even ask ourselves. Sometimes we tend to think that in life, our life is just emotion, right? It's just consistently. Everything is just a circle, a cycle, and we just move life like your 9 to 5, right? You get up, you go to work, you brush your teeth, shower, you go. But we never take the time to break the day down and really realize what's going on in our lives. So he breaks it down to very specific points that you start to look at it and say, you know what? I do have to change these things, right? I do have a problem in this area. So someone like Keston, man, I tell you, the way he breaks down things and the way he starts to get you to realize the important things in your life, it's definitely something you need to check out if you don't know who Keston is.
Exactly. It's all about awareness, intentionality, right? To really understand what's going on and what's necessary to increase your level of performance. Hence, he's a performance coach. And it's been a big deal for me too, because before I started this mentorship with Carlos and the boys and everything here, I was a client of Keston's because I felt like I was doing super well and been super organized and high performing in my 9 to 5. But I felt like everything outside I was doing okay. And I think that I felt like there was more room. How can I be so high performing outside of my 9 to 5 like I am in my 9 to 5? And this is where he's really, made a big difference. And I'm excited. He's part of, matter of fact, Carlos's mentorship season 2 has started this week, and he's brought on Keston as a component of that. And I think that will lead to tremendous success for all the students. Hector's talking about it now, so really excited about it. And guys, if you feel like that's something you need, feel free to contact any of us. We're happy to connect you, of course. But I love to see the impact already of you sharing that, Hector. That's amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
All right, John, what's up, bro?
Awesome. What's up, guys? How's it going, man?
Amazing.
All is well. Yeah, you're exactly right, Hector, man. Keston's amazing as well. Yeah, first of all, I just want to thank you guys for putting this platform together. It is amazing. It gives me and my partner Terry a lot of energy. But I had a couple wins this past week. Was doing some seller outreach and actually got a couple of owners on the phone. Not exactly sellers yet, but they will be sellers 100%. One of them has many properties, larger properties. But the key to this, to me, is exactly what you say: take action, call people, just talk to them. I'm from the South. It's pretty easy for me to talk to anybody. I can talk to those wolves that Charles has in his background. That's fine. I don't think they'll bite. Not if you're nice to them, right? So, but anyway, yeah, 100%. But what gives me the confidence is this group. I mean, I can't take down these deals. Some of these are 200, 300 units, right? But this group can help me take it down, can help us take it down. So, when the time comes, I'll definitely be bringing the deals, to you guys. And so anyway, thanks a lot. I really appreciate you guys. It's such an amazing group.
I love it. And that's the confidence we all should have, right? Like we said, we're all just one person away, right? And John is taking action. Absolutely amazing. And here's the thing, guys. I mean, we're closing on a deal on Thursday this coming week. Closing had to be pushed from this Friday because Friday was a holiday. Who schedules a closing on a holiday, right? Yeah, lessons learned. So we're closing on Thursday. And I'll tell you something, guys. Once you get your first deal done, and obviously feel free to bring it to us, to anybody where you feel like they can help you take it down, right? And we're a community, so it doesn't have to be us. It can be us, right? But it can be anybody where you feel confident they can help you. Once you have that first deal done, you turn around and you become the guy, where people come to help take that deal down because you've walked the walk, right? It takes one deal, guys. You know the drill. You know what to do, what not to do, what's the risk, what's not so risky, whatever the case. And you can turn around and be the guy, that center, that leader, even for other people in this community. And that's really the goal here, right? Thank you, John. All right, guys, anything from your end?
I'll just throw something out there really quick for the sake of time. A couple of brokers called me this week asking, basically presenting deals to me, which means to us. And that's always a win in my book, because that means that in their mind, we're taking up mental real estate space, right? We're on their radar. They're thinking about us. That's a win.
And why do you think that is, Trevor? Why do you think they take us serious after we have been in multifamily real estate for 16 weeks, 15 weeks?
I think it comes down to two things. Number one, confidence. They can tell that we're serious and that we mean business, and kind of what's working for me behind the scenes to just bring that to, the communications that I have with the brokers. I got to give 95% of the credit to this group right here, Marcel, Victor, and Charles, knowing that you guys got my back. And then, in addition to you three guys, everybody else here on this Zoom, the, 69 participants that we have, knowing that this community, we have it as a support. It's extremely fueling, man, to go into these kind of calls and just have a professional, confident presentation and communication to take up that mental real estate space for down the road.
I love it. Thank you, brother. I feel the same way, by the way. Charles, Victor, anything from your end before we move on?
Yeah, my one win is just, I'm blessed with my wife. That fact that she took Saturday last week to go and walk a property that was 3.5 hours away. We took the kids. It was fantastic, but just knowing that she's got my back there, that's my win.
Love it. Love it. Cool. Matter of fact, I want to second that. I think my other better half today is in this call, actually here listening in, because I thought it was interesting for her to see what does it take to get started, right? What's the hubby doing? So she's here and supporting also my back, like absolutely, like, I mean, we have a newborn that's a week old, guys, you know, and I can still put in the time. So I feel the same way. And this is really where we all come together, right? Charles, Victor, Trevor, where we kind of have the same background, this strong support system also with our wives, with the kids. So absolutely can second that. Victor, anything from you, or do we want to jump into our content?
I think we could just jump into our content, but I would second what you guys are saying. The wife, being able to support us, take the time throughout the day to watch the kids while we're here doing extra work on top of our 9 to 5, taking away from family time. It takes a village.
Agreed. We got to take that recording and make sure that our wives are getting that one.
Right.
All right, guys. Hey, let's jump on. Let's move on then. Let's go into our topic. And the way we want to start this is how to get into real estate, right? Multifamily real estate. And what's required in that is, first of all, how to search for deals, right? How do we find deals? Where do we look for deals? How do deals find us? And how does something turn into a deal, right? And Trevor will kick us off here together with Charles and get this party going.
Definitely. So this is an important formula, guys. Attention plus relationships equals deals. And Charles, fill in any gaps that I may have here in talking about this, but in regards to attention, I don't know, can I get some just feedback in the chat? Like if you're kind of a person that doesn't really like attention, you don't really like the spotlight, even you may feel kind of bad where you feel like you're trying to intentionally draw attention to yourself. It may feel a little selfish, right? Can I just, throw a 1 in the chat if you feel what I'm saying, because that's definitely me. But one thing that helped me out a lot was, it's just the nature of the beast these days, right? You have to put yourself out there where you're getting attention. And I think it can be done in a genuine, selfless way with the understanding of this formula, right? At the end of the day, we all want to achieve deals. We want to get deals done, and doing deals will hit the target of what we're all trying to achieve here. We're freedom chasers, right? And deals propel us along the path of chasing that freedom. So attention is just required. That's the age that we live in. So I think if we put that in the perspective of, okay, I need to get attention because of my kids and the life I want to provide for them. I want to get attention because I want my time freed up because I want to give back to the community or be more involved in this service or whatever. I want to get attention to do deals because, hey, there's other things that I'm passionate about that will serve the greater good. But attention is basically a necessity in this day and age. And so with that said, this Zoom is a great spot to get attention in sharing your wins, in pitching in the Q&A whenever we have that. But also I would really highly recommend everybody, with your name in the Zoom, throw in a phone number or throw in your Instagram handle, your email, somehow, some way that people can get a hold of you. And if you don't know how to do that, just let us know in the chat and we'll outline some steps. But I think that's really key, guys. It can start right here, right now, getting attention. And so, Charles, I'm going to pass the ball to you to fill in any gaps, and maybe I'll pitch in after you're done just a little bit. We'll just see where we're at.
Yeah, I think especially getting the attention, putting yourself out there is fantastic. And then building them relationships with the brokers and with other potential partners, that's key. You just got to align with a group of individuals that have the same mindset as you. And that's how our group got started, and just go that route. And then network as much as possible. Your network is going to equal your net worth. So let's go.
Definitely. And adding to that, the attention actually is for the relationships. If nobody knows of you, how in the world could they meet you? And how can you have a conversation? And how can you develop a relationship that will eventually lead to deals? And so this not only works for other real estate investors like ourselves, like-minded individuals that are looking to acquire deals. Like Charles says, it works for brokers, it works for lenders, it works for everybody involved in the real estate space. So, Charles, thank you, man. Everybody put yourself out there, leverage your family members, your friends, your community, the Facebook groups you're a part of. Anything and everything goes. So, and that's the nature of the beast. That's the world that we live in today. And you never know. You never know what that next relationship would bring and the doors that it would open up.
That's exactly it. Get known, guys, get known. I also put it in the chat here. You don't have to wait until Sundays to share your wins, right? You can go into the Facebook group and share your win there, or share your questions there, whatever questions there are, throw it in there. Everybody can see it. Everyone needs to know your face and who you are and what you're doing. See that you're an action taker, right? It's all about the people, guys. And somebody that has done tremendously well in this, to be honest, in the past couple of weeks, in my opinion, was Peter. Perfect example. And you saw it today again. Heck, Peter flew out to Denver to an event that Carlos was hosting. And Peter has the attention from Carlos right now. You know, Carlos knows who's Peter. So that's the first step, guys. You know, somebody needs to know who are you. And then Peter also likes to say, it's not just who you know, it's really about who knows you, right? I love to say that. And this is really the key formula here, guys. If you're hiding in the corner, in the closet, you know, I mean, I know it's uncomfortable, but this is what gets everything started and turns you into an action taker. All right. How to search for deals, Trevor? You want to walk us through how we can search for deals on the broker sites?
Yep, 100%, guys. So take a screenshot or take a photo of, you know, this slide right here. It's major brokerages and their associated websites that you can go to find deals. I'm going to walk us through really quick as I share my screen. I'm going to go to the Berkadia website, and let me pop this up here. Can y'all see that?
Give it a sec. I just stopped sharing. There it comes. Yep.
Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So Berkadia, great brokerage out there for multifamily deals. Berkadia.com. And, you know, most broker websites will be laid out exactly the same way. So we want to see what kind of properties they have up for sale. I'm going to click this right here. And typically there's going to be some kind of filtering system of the kind of deals, the kind of properties that we want to look into. So actually, I want all those, actually, those deal types. Multifamily housing. I like to throw in mixed use just because you never know what might pop up. I'm going to submit that. And then I'm going to do a minimum of 40 units. Okay. And I'm in Colorado. So I want to see what's going on in my backyard. So Colorado, USA. So not too much going on Berkadia, but hey, there is one deal out there that they have up for sale. So I'm going to click on it. And for this particular deal, they have a website specifically devoted to it. So they'll have a little breakdown about the deal and some of the details about it. What you want to look for is the doc center right here. And it's probably going to ask me to log on maybe. And if they ask you to log on, just create an account. I already have an account with Berkadia. Real simple. This confidentiality agreement, you know, if you want to read through it, you definitely can, but it's not that big of a deal. Just go ahead and agree with it and click submit, and then it'll give you access to the important documents for you to look into the deal, and especially the broker contacts. I always like to just do a quick review of what the deal looks like, but then get on a phone with the broker as soon as possible, just to, again, get their attention and start developing that relationship.
And Trevor, that's standard, right? This confidentiality agreement. I remember us in the beginning, we would go to Carlos and be like, man, you know, is this okay to sign? Am I signing my life away? Are they going to deliver, you know, some packages at my door that I have to pay for now? But this is absolute standard procedure, right? And probably Zach and the team can second that here too. Right.
Yep.
Cool. So fairly simple, right, Trevor? have an account, put that stuff in, and maybe Trevor, can you maybe speak to also when you start reaching out to these brokers on these deals, right? And you get all this info and you sign up with an account. How can one actually start having their deals come to you as opposed to always clicking through those websites?
Totally. So in my first conversation with a broker from a brokerage that I've never talked to before, one of the questions that I ask is, hey, how can I get on your distribution list? How can I get on your distribution list? They'll know exactly what you're talking about. And what that means is, hey, instead of me having to go to your website every time to find what I'm looking for to see if you have deals that fit my criteria, you can get on their automatic email list and they can send you those deals when it enters into their pipeline. So you can have a conversation with the broker. Sometimes you can sign up through the website to get that distribution, to have those deals sent to you. But I always like to have a conversation with the broker. It's going to be a repeated theme. Conversations with the brokers to be added to their distribution list. And sometimes I'll ask them multiple times, hey, can I be added to your distribution list? Just to make sure I'm in there.
Exactly. And you'll find out, I know, I saw Trevor now, he pointed out Berkadia. So Berkadia is probably one of his favorite brokers to work with now. And you'll notice that you find your preferred brokerages the more you deal with these guys. So my preferred brokerage right now, for example, is SVN. They're a little bit smaller, but we're doing a deal in Knoxville with them that closes next week. So that kind of, builds a relationship. So I'm usually a lot of times active within their ballpark, right? Within their website, within their, I get a lot of communications from them. And you can really start by starting with, I guess all of them, but really one by one, where you start building those relationships with those brokers. And what you'll notice also is that they have different offices in different regions, right? So if you should have for yourself, you should have a region that you focus on, right? So I know Trevor, for example, is Colorado and Texas. For me, it's Southeast, it's Tennessee, Ohio, Kentucky, and all the other states down here in the Southeast where there's a specific office for certain areas. And these are the offices that you should build those relationships with and keep it moving forward, because there's no point. There's no way that you're going to build a relationship with the entire Berkadia brokerage around the whole country. And I don't even know how efficient that would be. So it's important to utilize also those filters and make sure that you only get the stuff that matters to you, because your span of attention and your span of focus is limited, right? And you want to make sure that you're laser focused on the stuff that matters to you, rather than skimming through deals, that, for me, I would never look at, if I see California on something coming in, it goes immediately in the trash. I don't even look at it, because you got to stay focused on what you're looking for, basically your buy box, right? So yeah.
Yeah, and I think now's a good time just to give Mr. Zach McQueen a shout out. He was our special guest on a Zoom probably 3 or 4 weeks ago on how to talk to brokers. That Zoom recording is in the Facebook group. And so that's a great reference for everybody to just get equipped and some training on how to engage brokers. Jump into Peter's Zoom there, talking to brokers. So what we're talking about right now goes hand in hand with that topic.
Exactly. It's where it starts, right? All right. So that's clear. Where else can we look for deals?
Marshall, can you share your screen again, please, brother?
I sure can.
Yeah, so just starting off, you're going to want to look at Crexy and LoopNet. I usually look at these two websites mainly for broker outreach, figure out what brokers are in the area, like everyone was talking about, just to get them connections going. So the one I mainly use out of these two is going to be Crexy. And it's kind of like Trevor was showing just a second ago. Can everyone see my screen?
Yep.
Yep.
All right, cool. So I'm already signed in. I obviously have an account, but what I do typically when I get to this first page is I'll go, what's for sale? And then I enter the location. So I'm in Pennsylvania now, but I know the Oklahoma markets more than I know Pennsylvania. Plus, we have Victor that's in Philadelphia, so he's kind of got that one under wraps. So I'll just go here. Multifamily uses in Oklahoma. And then it will.
What are the filters? What are the filters that you use?
The filters? Yes. So the filters, what I use is I'll go and I'll do multifamily. I'll even have student housing there, and then apartment buildings, and then mixed use. And I'm a sucker for self-storage, so I want to look at that stuff too.
Is there a filter for seller financing?
Not that I've seen yet. That's, you got to talk to the broker and ask if seller financing is on the table. So, and then I'll typically go with 50 units or more. Can do 40. And then I'll just set what classes I want to look into. I'll go A, B, C, and because there's not a ton of properties in Oklahoma, so I'll hit all three of the top there. And then it'll ask you, do you never miss a deal? You can set this up, and then Crexy will send you just these listings that match your criteria. So you, like Marcel and Trevor are saying, you want the deals coming to you, so you don't have to sit there and go to the website, search it all the time. They're coming to your in basket. And then you see one you like, you click on it, and you go from there. And then you just save search. So your search was saved. Now it's going to be there. These are the ones that came up. You can also see from my past ones that I've looked at. So it just keeps a good record of what's going on. And I use this one mainly to reach out to the brokers. So any questions? No.
Very simple, no, very straightforward. This is where one has to start, right? We have to start by doing, like, reaching out ourselves, right? Identifying stuff ourselves. That's step number one. Once one gets a little bit more into it, right? A little bit more confident also, and establish those relationships, there will be more coming your way. But here's the key, guys, and this is what I will go into the next slide here is, you want to be efficient. You don't just want to skim through websites, you know, and search, you know, and it's hard, right? I mean, do you put an hour a day? Here it comes again when it comes down to intentionality and stuff like that. Do you put an hour of your week or of your day in skimming through those websites? I feel like that's a bit inefficient, right? So you always want to have stuff come to you. You have to do a little bit of legwork, but then stuff can come to you. And the way I would like to encourage you guys, and I'm going to ask you to take action. I'm going to call it call for action. Here's what I'm doing. I have created a deal inbound email address strictly for stuff to come in. Don't mix it up with my regular email address where I do like operations, for example, where I talk to brokers even. I don't use that email address for that. This email address that you see here, for example, I only use it to sign up for on Crexy, for example, where I have these pre-saved lists, right? Or for broker blasts. Yeah. And what happens that way is every morning I get an email from Crexy, for example, and I don't think I'm signing in LoopNet, by the way. I should be more into it, but I'm always like Charles, looking at those deals because I don't like to skim through those websites. I like to have stuff come to me that I'm interested in, right? Rather than skimming through it myself. So every morning I get email, or not even every morning, throughout the day, I get emails from Crexy when there's any activity that fits my buy box. Usually every morning I get a list of like 12, 13, 14 that either have popped up just now or that, you know, there's like an algorithm, I guess, that reiterates the one that fit my buy box, whatever it is, based on the filters you put in. And man, I'm just every morning, I'm sitting on my breakfast table, whatever it is, I look through my phone, I go into that email inbox and I look at what deals are live, you know, what that are fitting my criteria. And if I see one, then I'm like, okay, this looks really interesting. Then I dive in. So I'm saving all this time by skimming through the website, you know, initiating searches, I don't have to take any action besides taking my phone and looking at this inbox of this email address. So I'm really asking you guys, create that email address that you strictly, nothing else. You only use it to sign up to receive deals, even on the broker blasts, everything. That way you keep everything separated. Nothing gets lost. You don't get 35 emails a day, you know, where you have to then, oh shoot, like stuff is going into my whatever the trash, or what is it called, the spam, right? Yeah. It's very concise, all in one place, and it doesn't get messy. So I'd encourage you guys, sign up for a separate email address where only that stuff goes in. And then, like I said, go get onto the brokerage email blast list and create an automated search for daily emails from Crexi and LoopNet, similar to what Charles has just shown you. Yeah, because you can set up that stuff gets sent to you every day. If you guys feel like, right, this was too fast, guys, and you go into it tomorrow, tonight, whatever the case may be, and you have questions, throw them into the Facebook group, DM us, whatever. We're happy to help you guys, okay? To help you set that stuff up so stuff can come to you and you get rolling, you get deals in front of you. That's all what matters, right? Get the deals in front of your face so you can look at them and you don't waste your time skimming through stuff, because that's time that creates no results, right? The results are looking at deals and not necessarily skimming through websites. And then the bonus, as Trevor said, connect with brokers from inbound leads and build relationships, right? And this is where you can find those deals. On Monday, you go into Peter's Zoom, you say, hey, Peter, I've got a couple of deals here that I like. Let's call them, right? That's how it goes, guys. Or you create your own Zoom as well. I don't know. Okay, good. Any questions on that? I haven't looked through the chat here. Any guys, did you guys check if there was any questions about this part?
Yeah, there we go.
If he had her hand raised while ago.
Yeah, sorry, I did. So my question is this: the properties that we may find on those specific individual brokerage websites, do they also feed into LoopNet and Crexi? Because those are the only two websites I've been checking so far.
Trevor can answer that well, actually.
Yeah, sorry, I was looking at the chat, but I think if you were saying the individual broker websites, are all the deals on their websites also going to be on Crexi and LoopNet? Is that what you basically were asking?
But yes, thank
no.
you.
No, they're not. You'll find actually a lot of deals on specific broker websites that are not on Crexi and LoopNet. So again, just want to emphasize the slide that we had previously that identified some of the main brokerage houses, and definitely get on their distribution list, regularly visit their site, connect personally with the brokers there in your areas of interest, 100%.
Yeah, this was for us like something to find out as a team as well, right? I remember probably 10 weeks ago when Trevor was messaging us, he was like, man, I'm on these broker websites and there's so many deals that they are not listed on any Crexi or LoopNet or whatsoever, man. You guys got to get on those websites. And we're like, yeah, you're right, man. There's so many gems out there.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff that's on Crexi and LoopNet has been on the market for a while, and that's why it's on Crexi and LoopNet. You got to go to the broker websites to get the newer listings.
Yeah, a lot of time people say like LoopNet and Crexi has only the trash, and that's only right to a degree, because let me tell you from experience. One, Carlos, our mentor, for example, his big deal in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, the Gateway Village, came from, I think, LoopNet. He found it. It was just listed a little bit weird. Sometimes you find agents, that are not really experienced in multifamily. They get a listing and those go on there. Another thing, if you see a listing on Crexi or LoopNet and it has set for a while, you can look at it and say, okay, based the way on it, how it is presented, it's not a deal. Let's make it a deal, right? Let's figure out how to make this a deal, because I like the area, I like the asset, whatever it may be. And this is really what happened to our deal in Tennessee that we're closing on Thursday, and that's a deal on seller finance. And it really wasn't a deal when I looked at it first, and I looked at it at week 1 or 2 in the mentorship, and I saw it. I was like, man, this is in my backyard. I know the location well, I know the community well. I just want to make this a deal. And I looked at it and I just reached out to the broker and had those conversations, right? Build relationships. If it's not this deal, you build a relationship with the broker maybe for another deal, right? And then I told him, I said, listen, this is not a cash deal. Your accounting sucks, was basically non-existing. I was like, no bank is ever going to loan on this deal. How would they give money? I see Jerry in the Zoom here. He would look at it and be like, guys, sorry, can't do it. It was like on a yellow page, some numbers basically. So we had to do really strong due diligence. But I said, this is a seller finance deal. So we spoke with the seller directly back and forth, and I don't want to go too deep into it, but we made it a deal. We made the terms, we made it a deal. So I would say on Crexy and LoopNet, you find a lot more deals where you might have to become, I would say, creative maybe, right? There's a problem usually. Why hasn't it been moved? Maybe it's too expensive, whatever the case may be. So there's definitely opportunity still there, although some people might call it trash. Cool. We have Sophie.
Yeah, my question is this, to get, like if I'm on the Crexy, mailing list, and I want to change my email address to something like what Marcel has suggested, you know, having an email address that just has your deals coming in instead of your regular email address. Is there a way of doing that, or do you have to go back in? Is there a way of changing your email address so that they start sending them to a new email address that you create with Gmail?
Yeah, you can do that, Sophie. So you just have to change your login. Your login is your login email address. You just have to change that, and then that's where everything gets sent to. Because I had the same issue as you in the beginning. I signed up with my regular email, and then I was like, oh my God, I'm getting blasted with this stuff. Now everything is a mess. And then Carlos actually told us, this comes from Carlos, something we learned from him. He said, create a different email address, guys. That's only for inbound stuff. I was like, ding, all right, makes sense. So I created that email address and changed it.
That must have been before I joined the mentorship. That must have been
Probably
the first 4 or 5 weeks.
It was pretty early on. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So you change your login.
Exactly. And if you have trouble, let me know. Happy to help you.
Yeah. Okay. Because that would help me a lot. Okay. Thank you.
You got it.
Yeah.
Stella,
Thanks.
I saw you were raising your hand. Do you still have a question?
Actually, I was just checking on the LoopNet because I didn't see that one screen. I just and then you went to the Crexy.
Crexy.
So I just wanted to double check, but then I saw it in the chat. Sorry.
That's awesome.
Crusty deals.
Crusty deals, right?
There's a lot of crusty deals on Crexy, but there's some in there.
There is. All right. Then let's so this is how we look at deals, right? This is how we started looking at deals, and now, as Trevor said, we set it up in a way that there's a lot more deals coming towards us, and obviously once you lock in on a deal, you're not really listening too much to the noise. You lock in, but we spend a lot of less time now searching for deals, I would say. So let us move on now. What we do after, once you have a deal that you identify you want to at least look at, right? And this is where you have to do some basic math, right? And this is where Victor, our silent killer ninja underwriter, comes into play.
Yeah, you don't hear from me a lot because I'm usually the boring guy behind the scenes running the numbers, but I can show you just the power of multifamily. So how do you calculate the value of a deal to determine how much value I'm actually adding to a property? This is probably a Zoom all on its own, which we'll probably do sometime in the future. In fact, if you put a 1 in the chat, if you guys would like to have a Zoom just to go over how to underwrite. Yeah, looks like there's a lot of interest. Marcel, let's pencil this in sometime. But for today, I can go over this very high level. I didn't add this to the slide, but the value of a property is calculated by the net operating income divided by the cap rate. The net operating income is the revenue minus all operating expenses, and cap rate is a measure of the rate of return that is expected, and it's typically dictated by the market. So if you're in a 5% cap rate market, every $1 you increase in net operating income, $1 divided by 5%, you increase the value of the property by $20. So say you have say you have a single family property. You got one door where the rents are $100 behind market rents. So you come in, you get it to market rents, $100 times 12 months, you've increased your revenue by $1,200. Divide that by 5% cap rate, you've increased the value of the property by $24,000 if it's 100% occupied for the year. And this is just one door. So just imagine if you had 40 doors or 100 doors, 200 doors. Well, maybe we don't even have to imagine, we can just calculate it right now. But to calculate the upside, you take the number of units, you times the rent increase per month, times that by the occupancy for the year, times 12 months, and you divide that by the cap rate. So we can go over a couple of examples here. If you want to go on to the next slide here.
And Victor, before I go to the next slide, you just said that for every dollar you increase the income, right? You increase the valuation by $20, 20, right?
Yeah.
If there's a cap rate of 5%, of course, right?
Yep.
So just think about that. That's what Carlos always says. He's like, the math I can't unsee. $1 earned, $20 more in value. Where do you see that, right? And I see, Victor, maybe real quick, I see a question in the chat here from Elise. Where do you find the cap rate?
So cap rates usually dictated by the market. You can ask the broker or you can call a local property manager. They would know what properties are trading at what cap rate in every market. And every market is different. If you're in a major metro area, the market cap rate might be lower than say you're out in the middle of nowhere or just in a secondary market or in a tertiary market where properties is there's less stuff going on, it's less marketable, so you would have a higher cap rate.
Awesome. All right, then let's go to the next slide. Let's take a look at an example.
Yeah, so we can do some basic math here. So let's say you have 40 units that the property is running $200 below market rent. So you come in here, increase the rents by $200, and assuming you got 95% occupancy at 12 months and you're at a 5% cap rate, what do you guys see the increase in value is?
Let's do some math, guys. This is where you guys come into play. Who's the first one that can come up here with the upside?
See,
Wait,
Joe got it right
was
first.
the occupancy 90%?
95%?
Oh, never mind. Ignore me then.
Yeah, we got Joe there, got the right number here. You've increased the value of the property by $1,824,000. So if you have 40 units, you increase the rents by $200, you've increased the value by $1.8 million.
And Victor, let's walk through this here real quick. Maybe just to make it really clear. Number one, number of units, 40, right?
Mm-hmm.
Times the rent increase. We said $200, right? So 40 times 200.
Yep.
And then times the occupancy. Why do we use 95% as occupancy?
So you typically never have 100% occupancy for the entire year. Sometimes you have turnover. So when you have some turnover, you have a couple of days that's not being rented. So add that all up, you would have some occupancy throughout the year. And a standard placeholder is a 95% is a good estimate. Sometimes if it's Out in, let's say, maybe a secondary, tertiary market, sometimes you may want to estimate it to be a little bit higher, maybe at 90% occupancy instead of 95. In a major metro area where there's a lot of people, a lot of stuff going on, 95% is a good estimate.
And it's also the way banks are calculating this, right? Like someone like Jerry, if you go in there and you do 100% because it operates at 100%, Jerry's going to tell you, not going to work, my friend. We're going to underwrite it with a certain vacancy, right? And obviously, if you look at a deal, guys, that has less than 95% occupancy, right? You got to use that number. Let's say it's 87. You got to use 87, right? Okay, so then we multiply by the occupancy, so 95%, right? And then what do we do next? We multiply it by 12 months for the whole year, right? So times 12, and then we divide it by the cap rate, which you have put at 5% for this calculation, right?
Yep.
I see Jackie puts it up there exactly. Yep. There you go. Cool. Let's do a couple more examples.
Let me jump in here, guys, because I think it's important for everyone to realize, why in the world are we doing this exercise? Why are we doing this exercise? So we called this on the previous slide, it was called the $1 million math, right? I believe that's what it was on the title. And, you know, with all of us, this goes back again to the purpose of the Zoom, okay? The purpose of the Zoom is for all of us that are navigating all of life's challenges to win collectively in the multifamily real estate space. What we realized really quick, and probably what you guys realize as well, is for that to happen in the midst of all of our job responsibilities, everything we do with multifamily has to be, number one, efficient, and number two, effective. Because we only have a certain amount of time per day, because we got to take care of all these other responsibilities, okay? So when it comes to being efficient and effective, these slides, this exercise, this $1 million math, it relates to this because for our team, and we would recommend it for everybody else in the Zoom, is that one of our criteria that a deal must have, it must have at least $1 million of upside potential. If it doesn't have $1 million of upside potential, we throw that thing in the trash and we move on to the next one. And what this equation does is it lets us know quickly whether a deal has at least $1 million of upside. If it does, we pursue it on a deeper level. If it doesn't, we move on to the next one. Effective and efficient.
Amen. Exactly.
Just to piggyback on what Trevor said, you want to have it to where it's almost automated. You look at a deal, it doesn't meet your criteria, immediate garbage. Just don't even waste your time on it. Figure out your criteria and then dive in on it. Time is money, and you don't want to be looking at every deal. You want the ones that fit your criteria and then move on.
By the way, what's our criteria? We need to share that more often.
Yeah,
Charles, go for it. Or Trevor.
Yeah, Doc Bingham, go ahead, brother. Fire away.
So our criteria is we want something that we can do a little bit of value add. It's got to be I usually go with 50, but 40 units is fine. We want to have that $1 million upside, and it's got to be in a great location. That's where we're at. If it's in a bad area, we automatically just throw them off the list. So we do some deep diving into the areas. If it doesn't look good, we move on to the next one.
And that doesn't mean it needs to be in a major metropolitan area, right? It can be a secondary or tertiary market, but it shouldn't be a ghetto.
Yeah. Lower crime rate. It's my criteria is, would I want my family there?
Right.
That's my criteria.
Yeah, and obviously there's ways, you know, where there are certain exceptions and on certain times, but that's usually our buy box where we go by deals come in, scrap them or not. We also found out that when you look at units between 60 and let's say 90, that's kind of a spot where it gets a little tough because of you need on-site management, or you should have on-site management. You can't really afford it. So we've been really careful with those two. But anything from like 40, 50, under 60, right? 40 to 60, and then north of 90, 100 plus, obviously, that's where we're really, we take a deeper look. I see Joel has a question here. What's up, brother?
Hey there, Marcel. I just wanted to ask a quick question on napkin underwrite.
Let's go.
So as we have interest are going up in our cap rate, so should we like underwrite with like by adding like an extra 1 to 2%? I've been seeing a lot of people sometimes like adding like extra to be more conservative.
It's a great point. Victor can answer that.
Yeah, so absolutely. Right now, with the interest rates rising up so much so fast, sales comps have not reflected yet what the market cap rate is doing. So the sellers are still thinking the market cap rate is when they're, you know, back in when the interest rates is 4%. So now when interest rates are much higher, the cap rates must decompress and it will go up higher. And it's not happening is not visually happening yet in the sales comps, but that is something that we do need to keep that in mind, especially if we're getting a fresh loan on it, because you're not going to cash flow if you're trying to calculate it at the previous the previous cap rate.
Appreciate it, Victor. And I had one more question, if it's all right to ask.
Go for it.
Go for it.
I think Marcel answered it. I've been hearing stuff like to avoid Section 8 and government assistance. Is that something we should use, or is that something we should completely avoid? I've been hearing like you cannot do rent increases in those opportunity zones.
I can touch on that. No, it's because we looked at this stuff, right, guys? And we LIHTC stuff, right, is what it's called. So here's the thing. They can be very profitable, and you can be very successful at it, but it's another niche. It's a niche like student housing, right? Student housing is not the same as running like a market rate apartment complex. It's a completely different game. So if you can definitely do the LIHTC, the government housing, but that should be your niche then, and you need to get educated on it. You need to know the rules, you need to know the policies, everything that goes into it. We had a very detailed call with a national management company, actually, with the director of compliance of that company, and she walked us through all the things that go into it, and there's quite a bit to it. So if one was to do it, this really requires expertise. Once one has acquired those expertise, it can be a very, very profitable route. But by just jumping in, we would say exactly stick with the market rate apartment complexes, unless you really want to dive into that stuff and educate yourself on it.
I do want to mention, so Marcel, you were talking about LIHTC. That's low income housing tax credits properties. So the developer came in and applied for low income housing tax credits. That is different than, say, Section 8,
yeah,
that's just a different set of rules, where you're governed by the HUD. They set what the fair market rate rent rates is every year. So that's a different set of rules as well compared to LIHTC. And to go on what Marcel said, it's a niche. You can't just jump into it like a market deal. You have to really understand the rules, understand the limitations, and before you can actually jump into it. That's my take.
Definitely.
Yep.
And let me add something really quick. Yeah, like Marcel said, definitely don't recommend it. if you're just kind of getting started or relatively new, but there are classes out there that you can take to get educated on it. And the director of compliance of this property management company supplied us with links to a couple of those classes. So message one of us and we could share that with you, or maybe we'll drop it in the Facebook group if you really want to go down that route and get educated.
Or ask us on it in the Facebook group for everybody.
But if you're just getting started, I would suggest just stick with market value properties first. Get your just learn the basics first. That's the simplest. That's what everyone knows about at the beginning. And then if you wanted to branch off and specialize in a certain niche, then go ahead after that. But definitely learn the basics of market first.
Exactly. All right, let's take Julian and then we move on. What's up, brother?
Hey, what's up, guys? So on the units, on the rents, how do you calculate, what your rent should be? Do you go like 1 to 5 miles away, or do you have anything, or does it have anything to do with the capital expenditure or the operating expenditure on that? I mean, because to me, I could say that a rent in certain units could go up to $300 or $400, or where it should be, but I don't know. How do you guys calculate what you increase in the rent would be?
So there are different places that you can find that out. If it's being marketed by a broker, on the offering memorandum, they usually show you what they say the market rent is. You can also go to sites like apartments.com, find that surrounding area, look at different apartment complexes. What are they charging for different types of units? You can also just pick up the phone and call neighboring apartment complexes and see what exactly they're charging, and then that will be the most accurate current market rents. If you pick up your phone and give them a call. So those are just some of the ways that you can find out what the market rent is.
And to be efficient, Julian, to be efficient, what Trevor has mentioned, right? We want to be efficient, right, with it. So in the beginning, you try to just get all the information from the broker that he's giving you. You pump it in, you see, does it make sense? If it does make sense, then it's how do you say it? It approves for you to take a deeper dive, to validate, right? But first of all, this is just high level. In the very beginning, you look, is there meat on the bone? Right? Is there actually some upside to it? Can I make money on this deal besides cash flowing? Right? And you just throw that in. I mean, any broker should have market rent, at least on the OM. If they don't, give them a call, ask them. And then you just do your numbers based off that. And once you have and you see like, okay, hey, there's meat on the bone. Now I got to do some validation, right? And this is where Victor says the best thing you can always do is go on the phone and call these complexes, because you get a live quote, right, of like neighboring complexes. The closer the better, right? I mean, sometimes you don't have the opportunity, you might have to go a little further away, but the closer the better. Because when you go to apartments.com, which is also good, don't get me wrong, but it might be a little delayed, the information on there. So the best is then always to call and verify, be a tenant, right? Hey, I'm looking for blah, 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 2-bedroom, 1-bath, blah, 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 whatever fits your deal. And you can figure it out that way.
Cool. Thank you.
You got it. All right, let's move to the next example, Victor.
Now let's just go on to see what the most important documents that everyone should get from a broker.
Let's go, because we're running a bit behind on time, right?
Yeah. So the 3 critical documents that you want to get from a broker that can help you take a look at the deal is the offering memorandum. That's basically like the flyer that the broker has put on, very pretty pages, very pretty pictures with maps and stuff. Then there's the trailing 12, which is the statements that they've had for the past 12 months, like profits and losses. What are they collecting? What are they getting in income? What are they spending on expenses? And then also a current rent roll, which is at that point in time, what are the occupied units? What is each unit paying? Sometimes they even give you a balance to see if they're on time or not, if they have any back rent that they need to pay. So these are the main the 3 critical documents that you want. If you were to only if you can only get 2 of them, get the T12 and the rent roll. You don't need the offering memorandum as much. A lot of the times I just go in, take a look at the pictures, and then kind of just toss it anyway. And it's just because they tend to fluff stuff up on the offering memorandum. So you kind of take it for what it is, and then you can trust but verify. But usually I take a look at the pretty pictures and then just dive into the T12 and rent roll only.
Sounds good. What next, Victor? Are we going into another example, or are we going to go to the call for action again?
I think we can go on to the call for actions, but I see Jerry here has his hand up.
Hey, Jerry, what's up, brother?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey, Jerry.
Hey. Hey, yeah, these are the items that you would need to send to the mortgage guy as well. These materials, and generally, if I have somebody that calls me that's not part of one of these groups, I'm going to be asking for like SREO and PFS and things as well. People that call me from these groups like Grants Group and just all these different networks out of Grants Group, I know that they have access to people that can get these deals done, so I don't worry about it as much. But when they call like just somebody off an internet ad or something like that, I get real, technical. Hey, I need to see, proof of funds, or I need to see a PFS or SREO and things like that. Just so people are aware that those are going to be questions that are asked of from a mortgage guy as soon as you call them. So.
And the
Jerry,
PFS
can you just go over what a PFS and an SREO is?
Yeah, SREO is the schedule of real estate owned, and PFS is personal financial statement. So the guys don't want to mess. They don't want to mess with you a lot of times if they, if you don't have those things in order and can't buy a deal.
So whoever was here last week, for example, right? Jerry was on here. We talked all about financing, mortgages, and everything on that level, on the commercial level. So Jerry is a debt broker. So any deal, guys, you guys find you need a debt quote, just go directly to Jerry, tell him you're part of the Freedom Chaser community, and you're good to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Sounds
I appreciate
good.
it.
You got it. Appreciate
Thanks so
you,
much
brother.
for being here tonight. Thanks for being here tonight, Jerry.
Yeah, thank you.
But before we go to our call of action, I just want to say, can we just put some fires in the chat for Dr. Victor Into the G, our underwriting ninja? I mean, this guy, he's such a value, not only to our team, but the Freedom Chaser community. You guys hit him up for any questions. He's busy, I will say that, with small kids and a very demanding corporate job. But it's just fantastic having him a part of this community, his knowledge and his skill set that he just brings to the table. So Victor, thank you so much, man.
Thank you. And I just want to really emphasize that this really is a team sport. I think all 4 of us, we all bring something to the table. I'm a very introverted guy. I'm not that great on the phone. You hear me stuttering all the time, but there we have Trevor and Marcel that's really good at the blah, blah, and building the rapport with brokers and property managements. And then Charles over here, who has just a huge amount of connections and network. It's really important for you to build your own team, to find people that you just jive with and have the same mindset, the same values. And you guys can go so far with that small core group when you guys have the same mindset.
And everyone is in this room. I tell you guys, there's enough people in this room to do just that. Matter of fact, the room that we've been in, where we created our own group, was a lot smaller than this one, right? So there's definitely, and heck, I think in the Facebook group, and there's also others. I know Oscar and the team, they have a big Facebook group as well. There's definitely people in your close proximity that you can build a strong team with. No freaking doubt. Awesome. And obviously, if you don't have a team yet and you get a deal, you find something, you know, you have all the groups around here, you know, that you can come to, and happy to help and get this thing going. All right, guys, we're really running behind on time. Victor was telling me, he's like, man, do you think we can do all this on time? And I was like, yeah, we can do it. But he proves us wrong as always, you know, he always is the guy that proves us wrong. But guys, maybe real quick before we go into this call for action, some homeworks and everything. Do we have specific questions on the math right now? Because we really only did one example. And if we don't, do you guys, maybe next week even, should we go and deep dive
specifically for the
Oh, who do we lose? Whose Zoom is quitting unexpectedly?
Am I back? Do you hear me?
You're back.
I'm back. Man, the whole week I've been having this. Even on our team call yesterday, the guys told me I was making a post like this for like multiple minutes because everything here with Zoom and my internet is crashing. Anyway, what I was mentioning, guys, was do you guys see value in us deep diving into this? Maybe even as soon as next week, since we don't have the time now to really go and do multiple examples now. Let us know in the chats here, and maybe that's what we focus on specifically. I see.
I don't
Is
know
that
if
what
you
you said?
caught the ones. Did you catch what the ones were for?
No.
Okay, I asked everyone to put a 1 in the chat if they wanted to go into a deep dive on or go into underwriting more. That's what all the ones are from.
All right, okay, good decision made. Sounds good. Then let's go real quick to our brother Dubs, how I like to call him, and then we go into our homework section.
Hey guys, first of all, man, blown out of the water. You guys are doing unbelievable. This is a fantastic call. It's very helpful. You've broken it down fantastic. I just wanted to comment that I do agree. I think the underwriting, the features of deep dive are so great. And also on the team, right? What are the team members? What are the team components? What are the things that you look for in a team member? I think it'll help everybody here. We got 60 something people here. So this is fantastic. Really
Let's go.
fantastic.
Appreciate it, brother.
Unbelievable. Good job, bro.
Highly appreciate it. So guys, with that, then let's jump ahead here. Here's the homework. And the question in the end I really want to ask you guys, or we want to ask you, are you committed to this, right? Are you just here attending Zooms? Or are you actually committed to taking actions, right? This is really where it comes down to the nitty-gritty. And what we would like to see from you guys is, one, create that deal inbound email inbox that we talked about and get signed up on the brokerage side, Crexy, LoopNet, to get all the deals coming in. And then this week until next Sunday, collect the critical documents to 5 deals. It's not rocket science. 5 deals, okay? Very simple. You can do 1 Monday, 1 Tuesday, 1 Wednesday, 1 Thursday, 1 Friday if you want to be organized, and determine the potential upside. So do the calculation that we have just done. And we're happy to put that again in the Facebook group. No problem to put it there. Very simple. Everyone can follow a calculation, right? And then post your results, feedback, lessons learned in our Facebook group once completed. That's it. Simple as that. Let's take the action, encourage each other to do so. The reason why we ask you guys to post it in the Facebook group is that everybody in the community sees you taking action. Okay? Everybody sees what you're doing. And also, maybe you find some lessons learned, something you struggled with, something you didn't struggle with, what you found easy, whatever. And other people can feed off of that again, right? And obviously, if you struggle with something, put questions in our group. We'll answer them. We get to it right away. Dr. Charles Bingham is actually extremely speedy in answering questions in our Facebook group. So you might even have an answer within minutes. So guys, and this is really where this question comes down to, are you committed to chase your freedom, right? Are you committed to this? Are you committed to the community here? Let's do this. Each week, guys, let's put some action items in place. And we go week by week. This is what we guys did. This is what we did, guys. We started week by week by week, step by step by step, right? So let's find 5 deals where you'd collect those documents, determine the upside. And heck, if you find a slam dunk deal, move on. Let's go. Call the broker. I mean, ideally, you call all the brokers there, right? And just take action, guys, and you'll see that action taking week for week will take you to a level that you wouldn't have imagined, and maybe even to close a deal within the next 2 to 3 months, right? Awesome. Any feedback, Charles, Victor, Trevor? Anything you
I also wanted to add in, if you post your results and feedback and lessons learned into the Facebook group, that's just the action that you can take to hold yourself accountable to. And then if you can, I know Marcel and Trevor, that's how you guys originally met. Just if you can hold yourself accountable or meet somebody in the group that you guys can partner up to become accountability partners, you could, just holding yourself accountable can get you so much further than if you're just trying to wing it by yourself. I think what was it that we learned? A group that holds each other accountable will be more successful than a group that has more experience but do not hold yourself accountable. Is that right?
That's exactly it, bro. Exactly it.
That's it.
It was a call like this, right? It was week 1 of the mentorship, matter of fact, where we were in, and after the call, I think within the call in the chats, Trevor and I were like, hey man, let's link up after, right? And then we jumped on the call, and then everything just went from there. And like week 3 or so, we saw Victor go through a deal with Carlos, and I texted Trevor in the meantime. I said, we got to get this guy on our team. We got to get this guy on our team, and let's reach out to him. Let's call him. Now he's on our team. And then Charles came along. Charles had a deal. We all looked at it and said, hey, let's just all stick together, man. And now that's how it developed, guys. Step by step. Not all happened at once, right? Peter.
I just want to comment, if I can. Phenomenal assignment. Absolutely love it. But you missed one thing. You got to hop on the 2 o'clock Zoom tomorrow afternoon.
Exactly. Let's do it. Tomorrow, 2 p.m., Peter, right?
2 p.m. Eastern time.
2 p.m. Eastern time. So you can even do it together, right? Look, I mean, Peter is giving you the stage to huddle up with people already, and you can already get started on it. Yeah. Cool. So that's clear. We'll make sure that we post this in our Facebook group tonight as well. What is the call for action? And then you guys, please, like, post your experience, guys. Like, put attention leads to relationships and deals, right? So with that, also, we have a little video going, since we ask you, how committed are you? And we always like to create some buzz. So let me see if I can figure this out here now.
Winter is coming, and I want you to know that when it comes,
Here we go. Can you see this? Yeah? And here?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep, we can see in here.
Yes.
Let's go.
are you committed? Because without commitment, nothing happens. You have to be committed through the storm and the rain and the heartache and the pain and the disappointment, or you're not gonna make it. It's a commitment. It's not a feeling. While they was golfing, I was studying. While they was shooting hoops, I was studying. While they was playing games and sitting up and eating and joking in the restaurant, I was studying. You can't get out of something that you're not willing to put into it. You have to put your everything, your mind, your energy, your effort, your discipline, your tenacity. Nothing is going to jump out the fire. If you don't throw something in there, it's not going to happen. But if we fight every day, one of them days is going to be my day.
Let's go, guys, right? You can all do it. The question comes down to, are you committed? Are you consistent? Let's freaking go. With that, I'll let you go. I hope you all have an amazing week ahead of you guys. Remember, take action, guys. It's all about taking action. Let's go freaking crush it. And we're excited to hear from you guys. Let's freaking go.
DJ Khaled. Hey. Yeah. All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. And they stay there, and they say yeah, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win, win, won't stop now. Keep your hands up, get them in the sky for the homies that ain't making it, my folks locked down. I never went nowhere, but they saying loot is back. Blame it on that contour, the hood call it Ludiac. And I'm on this foolish track, so I spit my foolish flow. My hands go up and down, like strippers' booties go. My verses still be serving, tight like a million virgins. Last time on a college remix, now I'm on the original version. Can't never count me out, y'all better count me in. Got 20 bank accounts, accountants count me in. Make millions every year, the South's champion. Cause all I